It's your fault. It's your fault that he has a piece missing from his face.
Steve's like, I'm trying to green screen these idiots, and this is what happens.
It's your fault, man.
Primarily Critical. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Primarily Critical. If movies had an after party, this would be it.
If you have not seen this film, we suggest that you do so before listening or viewing any further.
Because we have spoilers, trivia, and opinions like crazy, and we can't wait to share them.
Good, bad, new, old, weird, or gross, we
Pass judgment on them all.
Today, excessive indulgence in sensual pleasures. Now, while researching the tagline, I found the meaning of debauchery.
Is that it?
Yeah, you looked it up.
And I said that's it. That's my tagline.
Excessive indulgence in sensual pleasures.
That's one definition of it.
Okay.
Anyway, this is The Dirt. And
Hey.
it was picked by Phil.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Do you care to lead the conversation?
Sure. I was looking forward to this movie. I saw the trailer, and as Netflix does, they released the trailer very close to when the movie's going to come out. Have you noticed that?
I haven't.
They don't give you much time.
Yeah, I noticed this, yeah.
One day there's boom!
Yeah.
There's going to be a movie about Motley Crue and the Dirt.
Right.
And so the movie is based on a book that they put out like 20 years ago, what have you. Based on their stories, autobiography. And each guy in the band has a little part of the book.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I actually read some of the book back in the day.
You did, eh? Good for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I never did.
Actually, when I was touring, as you know, I don't know, I've talked about it before. I'm a musician. I played in bands, and I was on the road. And this was a book that actually, funny enough, was left out. A lot of people touring or in the industry, they got it in the hands of people to get the word of mouth going. This book is the Dirt, and as legend has it, they wanted to make this movie for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And they finally got it done, and they got it done through Netflix. So
Sweet.
thoughts on the movie? Did you like it?
Hey, you know what? Anything that brings me back to that era, I'm gonna love. You know, it's hard for me to look at this movie objectively because there's moments where there's little things I thought maybe bits I could have picked on, but I didn't want to because I just love it. I just loved.
Your nostalgia kicked in?
The nostalgia
Your
was so
fanboy?
good. Yeah. I mean, Motley Crue, man. I mean, this was the
Crue.
I saw a play of Rock of Ages, the exact same thing. I was just brought right back to my youth.
And that's powerful, isn't it? Like your
it's
nostalgia
huge, yes.
is huge.
Yes,
And
yeah.
and for me, similar to what you're talking about, my first experiences of finding about the Crue, the Motley Crue, when I was like, oh gosh, I'm going back, man, 10, 11 years old. In the early 80s, I would take trips into the city, Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I grew up in a town called Selkirk. And I'd come to my cousin's place. And she was a fan of this band, which I had no idea of. And all I knew about it was this poster on her bedroom wall.
Yeah.
And it was one of Shout at the Devil, and it was all satanic, and all in the makeup and
Seemed
the costumes.
such badass
And I'm
back
like,
then, yeah.
holy shit, what is this debauchery, this evil band?
Yeah.
And it left an impression. And then, of course, you hear the music, and it's like, Shout at the Devil, and,
Oh, yeah. I was the guy, like, I had hair down on my ass. I had the jean jacket where you put all the writing of all your bands on the back, the back patch and all that shit, right? I was that guy, and back in that day, like today, people would say the badass music is all, like, gangster rap and stuff like that,
sure,
right?
that's the flavor of the moment.
But back then, this was the badass shit. This was the meanest looking, toughest dudes. Listen to that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was.
But it's funny that the meanest, toughest looking guys were fans of guys wearing makeup.
It's true. It is true.
And
yeah.
puffy hair.
It's
Oh, yeah.
true. Yeah.
I don't know, thoughts, Steve?
Oh, they had
What's
lots
your
of makeup and
experience?
stuff.
Yeah.
I was sadly very ignorant to Motley Crue, and I'm obviously familiar with the music, but I never watched any of the MTV. I didn't really see a lot of music posters in as I was growing up. It was just not a thing when I was in my circles. So but I knew this stuff happened, and I knew that Motley Crue was a big deal, and I recognized a lot of the names, mostly Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
And I heard about this spinning drum set. I've heard about this, and like I don't know, just like this whole. I don't understand women. I guess that's where I'm going. I don't understand. I don't understand why are they just throwing themselves at these idiots?
Hey, let's face it. They were juvenile idiots that were childlike, and they got success, wild success, and a lot of money thrown at them at the time.
Yeah, see, I think Phil and I looked at it totally differently. We didn't ask why. We just said we were like, when I was young, I'm like, women are throwing themselves at these idiots, and then we're like, I want to be one of these idiots. Yeah,
And to that point, when I was a kid and when I was first starting to learn to play guitar, one of the first songs I learned and jammed with a drummer. In our minds, we were a band. We were a two-piece.
Yeah.
Was Girls, Girls, Girls. And it's very sentimental to me that was one of the first things I ever jammed over.
Me smoking in the boys' room, man. That was one of the first licks. I was like, it was just you had to know this shit.
Rock
It was
And
badass, and it was sounded awesome with the amp, the distortion cranked up,
And don't get me wrong. This was all part and parcel of that time. All those rock bands, hair bands, metal bands, what have you, was a sweet spot of that era. And I was a fan of a lot of the bands, Def Leppard, Judas Priest, and probably one of my favorite bands of the area, Van Halen. And it was just the thing. And it was really what we were listening to. Maybe us, maybe not so much you, I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't so much Van Halen. My brother's more in Van Halen, but I was definitely Motley Crue, Judas Priest, AC/DC.
Yeah.
These were my my go-to, and then Metallica later.
But, and a big but, and I hate to break this all down, I'm a fan of the band, not the hugest fan. Like, I put them lower down than other bands. But the movie. Let's talk about the movie.
Yeah, let's talk about the movie. All right.
Yeah, because, like, just to get back a little bit.
Sure.
I'm not that much younger than I think you guys might be, and I'm guessing you. But I also failed some grades, right? So
Didn't we all, man?
Didn't we all? When I was in high school and I was really starting to get into music, it was all about Rage Against the Machine.
Yes.
And it was Korn, and it was Tool, and
the post grunge, or what would you call that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I
and
don't
then
know.
later on,
More
Limp Bizkit.
post-grunge.
Yeah, the grunge scene kind of just killed
new metal,
things for
I
me.
think they
But
call that.
Yeah.
I hate genres. I hate when they label shit.
You have to label it. Yeah.
It's rock and roll to me.
Yeah.
It's just a new flavor, new spin on the old.
Yeah.
Nothing's new out there. Don't kid yourself. Nobody's breaking. No, not really. Not since whatever. The point being, I was disappointed by the movie.
Really?
To a point where I felt it was just a shallow, like you were talking about. It was just a bunch of children with a bunch of money running around like
kids?
Yeah, and they even showed it in the movie. There's one point in the movie where Tommy Lee, this is my day. He wakes up chained to a bed and he's let loose, doing whatever, and he wakes up at 5 and you know it's
in the afternoon.
Yeah, right. He's doing drugs and drinking, and they're all in their 20s.
Yeah.
And I guess you can't expect them to rise above it all, like be something like a band like U2 or something. They're just having fun and doing everything everybody wanted to be. Like, you're envious of them. I wish I was in their shoes. But it looked like after a while it was just a horrible existence of
well, you know what's sad about this is that while this is going on, young guys are watching this, right? And they're watching these badass bands, and they know they're doing the drugs. So what happens is then lots of the people watching this, they do everything. They end up trying to mimic the same lifestyle.
The lifestyle,
right? But with all they're doing, without the talent, exactly, and then without the girls too, right? Because so now all you've got is a bunch of drunk guys doing drugs, guys drinking every day.
Yeah.
But they're lacking the girls, they're lacking the talent.
Not everybody can be that. Those guys.
And they're listening to it. thinking they're just like them. You know what I mean? But
I've met a
they're
lot of
not.
those guys.
You know?
Have you
Yeah.
not met a lot of those
Oh,
guys?
I've met tons of those.
They're
Those guys
still
were,
rocking the mullet
I
and
know.
still like living
it was sick,
living the
man.
dream
You know,
that
it's
never
like-
died. Still rocking the
yeah,
Trans
and that
Am.
was the sad end of that stuff. You know, is people wanted to, that scene. I mean, it was.
Well, I kind of wish the movie was a little deeper. Got
Mm.
in more into like it felt shallow, and it just felt like this is the party life.
It felt like a
And when
long
they-
rock
when,
video
when,
in many
when
ways.
they tried to get into the serious stuff about it,
Yeah.
like I'm well aware of some of the circumstances. Case in point, when Vince Neil basically kills in a car
yeah.
accident, and I remember this. They never got into how did he get off. Why would he walk free and not do any serious time? All he got was like probation. He had to stay off booze and drugs.
Yeah.
And who knows how well he did with that.
Yeah.
Because we're led to believe these guys never did anything like...
They never let up, yeah.
Yeah. And then, there's alluded to that Tommy Lee was abusive to women in one scene, but they never followed that up.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Debbie Downer on this movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I
Felt shallow.
It felt like I say, it felt like one big kind of long rock video, which
I guess it kind of is, if
It
that's
kinda
what
is,
they
yeah.
wanted to do.
yeah, and I mean,
They
to
did.
me, there was very nostalgic and there was value in that. But it is, you're right, it was
And-
surface.
But
It
into
wasn't,
that point, I was
there
hoping there would be more live or more of the music from Motley Crue pumping through the movie. And case in point, Bohemian Rhapsody really sold the Queen music. When you watch that movie and compare it to Motley Crue, they
Yeah.
rocked out. They did a
Yeah.
full 20-minute set of their music. I wanted more of the Crue music, which to me is the more exciting thing about them. Show them doing their craft more.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they chose not to, and we got a little bit. They barely touched on a lot of their songs.
Yeah, it's true.
A little
It's-
bit.
It's true. Yeah, it was.
Okay. Tommy Lee had some trouble being faithful.
Oh,
Nikki
Well, I
Sixx.
think they all did.
Yeah.
Nikki Sixx had a
nobody
horrible
was a saint in
childhood.
this movie, right?
And
What?
Mick had a debilitating disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Vince killed his friend and watched his daughter die. I feel like he had the shitty end of the stick.
Yeah,
on
he
that
did.
one.
Yeah.
And he, But do you
That-
feel like they?
When there was
coulda-
no dry in the house when that poor kid was begging for her life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you feel like they could have went deeper with that? Did you really feel?
Well,
like,
I mean, I
was
think
heavy crap.
you know,
Yeah, it was.
It's I guess you got to condense this down. Like how many minutes was this thing? I don't think we have that here. Do we?
yeah, 108. It's not a very
108.
long movie.
So it's not a very long movie,
No.
but I mean, at the end of the day, you don't like it's like you want to feel to something to a movie, right? If you could go down. I mean, you could have made a movie simply out of just the story of Vince Neil in that car accident.
Yeah,
That could have
you
been a
could've.
whole movie.
If
You know,
you fo- well,
you know, and so. It's like how deep do you go down each one of these stories, because there was a lot of stories going on.
That's a
right?
great point. In Bohemian Rhapsody, they focused on Freddie Mercury. In this movie, they tried to divide it somewhat equally amongst the band.
Yeah.
I think Nikki Sixx's character got more of the attention
He got more of attention.
because
But
he was
I
the
didn't,
driver of the band, right?
He was the driver of the band, and I
was.
didn't hate that because I felt. I guess I shouldn't get out of scene while I'm still talking.
No, that's okay.
But I didn't hate that because he actually. I mean, this goes to a personal thing, but I know a guy. I'm not going to throw his name out in the podcast, but he was our drummer for our first band, and he was like had the life of this Nikki Sixx to almost a T. I mean, this is a guy that his mother had men revolving through the door. His father was his father actually played in a rock band. His mother was a groupie. Slept with this guy. It was actually a drummer, and got pregnant. So now, drummer is his. Nah, I'm probably saying too much now. People
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But anyways,
It's the dirt, man.
yeah. Anyways, it just shows like this guy. He didn't stand a chance because when you're raised by a mother like that, that's just doesn't give a shit. You basically you're in my way of what I want to do with my life, and I've got men coming every night. You're just in my way. She was abusive, didn't care about him and stuff. I watched what happened to him, and he was so screwed up, and we lost contact because of how screwed up he was, right? And so to see Nikki Sixx, I totally gravitated to this guy. It's like I knew him. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's like I fell for him, man. You know, and so I'm glad they put focus on him because I think that was a tough life,
Yeah.
a tough road, and the fact that he actually became anything at all in life
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
A guy
Nikki
starts
Sixx,
out like that, you know.
as they show in the movie, he had probably the most, like, his upbringing looked tortured, right? Like,
Yeah.
as you were talking about. Apparently, the scene where he cuts himself to get his mom reported to the family services, what have you, is real.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, and his whole dive into the heroin addiction felt really real, and that's a credit to the acting and the credit to the authenticity of it. Like it looked like shit, and then that's kind of like, you think the
He was
rock and roll
jamming that thing
lifestyle
everywhere on his body.
Yeah, he was, and that's probably true to how it is. And yeah, it was good. I mean, the depiction of that is like saying, kids, it ain't all fun and games being a rock star.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that there was enough to make me feel for these guys. I just felt like they're a bunch of childish idiots running around.
Yeah.
Except for Mick Mars, who is the older guy by maybe 10 years, like when
Yeah.
he joined the band, right?
They don't.
He was
Have you looked up Mick Mars? His birth date?
19...
It changed. They don't actually
moves
know it.
around?
They don't know
It's
it.
got to
it's-
be in the 50s or something.
Listen, you guys keep talking.
Okay,
I'll get
keep
it up.
talking.
But,
He is the elder guy in the band, and I love him as a guitar player. I really, if I'm gonna pick a guy from the band in Motley Crue, he's my favorite guy. I'm a guitar player. I might be biased, but I love his solos. I love his approach to playing. He seemed like in the movie, and as I understand it, he really wanted to have a successful band.
Yeah.
And he just seemed to luck out auditioning for these bunch of knuckleheads.
Yeah. What does it say?
1951.
oh, keep reading.
Keep reading.
Or 1955. Known professionally as Mike Mars is an American.
Mick Mars.
Mick Mars. Sorry, I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, don't be
Mick.
sorry.
It's either 51 or 55.
Okay,
It's either May or April.
he might be 67 or it might be 64.
Right.
Anyway.
Hilarious. Right?
So he was kind of like the straight guy. They portrayed him as Grumpy Dwarf in the if you
Okay, they all had titles. There was a kid drummer. There was the old guy. There was
Yeah.
the cover band singer and the runaway.
yeah.
Yeah, they had.
Yeah. And if we're gonna get really down to each member of the band, I never was a big fan of Vince Neil, and maybe he got slighted in the band or whatever. I don't know.
Look, my cousin, she had Vince Neil plastered pretty much on every wall of her entire bedroom. She was a huge Motley Crue fan.
Yeah.
I was young and I thought the guy was he was one of my idols. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he was when I was a kid. Oh yeah.
It's
I
very
thought-
easy to idolize these guys because you don't know them.
Well, it's true, yeah. But his voice, I mean, like when I think of all, you got Axl Rose, right?
Yeah.
Amazing voice, right? You've got, but he was one of my favorites. I just
Yeah.
loved his pitch. Like even, people go on and on about Steve Perry from Journey, right?
Yeah.
I still would rather have Vince Neil's voice than Steve Perry. I think he's just got the.
Oh, the gauntlet has been thrown.
It's true. You know what's sad? I know the band is like since retired, and they did their farewell tour and all that. But like in their waning years, at the end of it, like his voice was terrible. I can't.
Yeah. Well,
And I'll say this about my other favorite band. I put Van Halen above David Lee Roth era Van Halen. His voice is shot too, and these bands that want to keep touring with the terrible, they're just a shell of who they were, and yet they keep going. And like, please don't, because you're not as good as you used to
well,
be.
when's our voices gonna? When
I
are we
don't
gonna
know.
stop? When are we gonna stop being able to do our tunes? It's gonna happen. I keep wondering. Well, is it gonna be tomorrow? Is
Hey,
it gonna
man,
be
I'm just
year from
saying.
now?
I'm just saying.
It'll
I'm
never
just
happen. You
saying.
guys will go on forever.
I'm
and
just
then
saying.
eventually you'll just be singing hits.
Calling like it is.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
It's just you don't know when, right?
Yeah.
So.
But I will say this: the casting of this movie, I really thought great casting. Each guy that they're portraying, credit to the wigs. The wigs were amazing.
Yeah. They looked real.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really strong positive things to say about this. Great casting of each guy, the wigs.
Yeah, it's like this.
All right,
This is a quality wig.
I have
This is a quality wig as well.
I have some real. I have,
real. What are you
I have,
talking about?
That's my hair. I'm sorry.
I have questions. I have
Okay, you have questions.
Two
All right.
questions specifically. One, could you see yourself living like that?
Oh, that's lifestyle?
Yes.
At age 20-something? Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
I
I
suppose.
wanted to live. I've actually very much lived pretty close to not with minus the heroin and minus the girls. But I did have to.
that's like
I'm
two-thirds
not
of it.
taking out the talent on that one. I did. I was talented. I could play music. I could play
Right.
guitar. So I wasn't that loser. But
Right.
I was pretty close. I was pretty damn close. But yeah, I was getting high every single day. Was not going to school, and I was just playing music and all about the rock and roll lifestyle, right? And
I think
I think I can do it too.
Yeah?
Yeah. I need to be a. Well, I don't know. Are these good guys? Are they good guys?
oh yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not convinced.
That's the point I made. They never really followed through on Tommy Lee's abusive nature to women. He gets divorced or he separates from Heather Locklear, right? Was that?
I'd say they're good guys that did really shitty things, right? Because they were young and they were given way too much too early, and
Yeah, and
too much power, too much
that
control.
is the
And
probably
they did really shitty things like we all would have if we had that power when we were young. But does that make them shitty people in the big picture?
No, I don't know. But they weren't productive of society,
No,
pushing the
but-
ball down evolutional chain of.
Does everyone have to be a productive?
But no, they don't. And
you
you know what? And to that point, you meet up with a legend of the time. That one scene with Ozzy Osbourne,
Ozzy Osbourne. Yes.
and then just like the knucklehead thing he does, he's fucking licking up his own urine
Yeah.
and snorting ants or what the hell was he
Yeah,
doing?
snorting ants, licking up urine, and then he licked up Tommy Lee's urine. I believe.
Yeah.
Or, well,
that was based on
this is the level of
a legend, a
the-
story, an urban legend.
urban legend.
Yeah.
This is the level of stupidity we're dealing with. If
Yeah.
you aspire to that level of success, well, hey, all power
Well,
to
you know,
you.
I'm not going to do this public on the podcast because I don't have the money to afford lawyers and stuff like that. But I did some really, really stupid things in that time too. And so
I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
I'm
I
just
love
not
it.
gonna-
I love it. Here's the thing. Where Tommy Lee was married to Pamela Anderson.
Yes.
Why didn't they talk about that? It just disappeared.
It is. I found that interesting too. I mean, but they kind of.
There must have been some legalities.
But the
involved.
story kind of ended.
Was that not part of the Dirt book?
I don't think that was part of the dirt.
They
book, yeah.
continued
It
on
was
for
post-dirt.
20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was like,
So
no.
that was in that 20 years. When
Yeah.
the movie ends with they continued for 20 years. I think that Tommy Lee, Pam Anderson was.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I was
They broke
interested.
up and got back together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually,
I don't know.
Well, in theory, I mean they're together now, but obviously it's not the same production level, and it's total dynamics. Everything has changed, but my understanding is that they actually are still actively doing some projects, some works together,
The
but they
band?
can't. Yeah, the band.
Oh well, they obviously united to get this project done,
Right.
and I think they actually produced a new song for this.
They did.
The Dirt.
Yeah.
So, hey, good on them. I don't know, I think if this, once again, Netflix doesn't release stats on how well it's been viewed, and we don't know what the success level is, but the word on the street is this movie's been a success, so it's going to breed other movies because
I
success.
want this. I want them all. I want
Right.
All
And we've had a
these,
few.
Come
yeah.
on,
We-
they just
we-
made one about Queen. They made this
Yeah.
one, and now
Yeah.
they're making one about Elton John. They're gonna.
Yeah.
Just keep them
So,
coming,
keep
man.
'em coming.
Keep
Here we
them
go.
coming. Yeah.
Okay, what would you like to see? What would you like to see as a movie produced about a band?
I want to see one.
Oh
about
boy,
Zach
the
De La
sex.
Rocha.
Well, the Sex Pistols they did already. That
About
was
Rage
Sid
Against the
Nancy,
Machine,
but,
okay.
Yeah.
What about you, John? What would you estimate?
Boy, it's got too many options. This is like a candy store for me. So, man, oh man, give me some time. You guys-
Okay.
Okay, well, Rage Against the Machine and Tool are very, very, very politically active. Or
Yeah.
Or they were, right? Maybe that would be kind of a good thing for the moment because, I think some countries, the states, need a conscience right now. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. I
Yeah.
am a big fan of Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello,
Yeah.
one of my favorite guitar players. For me, I'd love to see a movie about Dave Bowie.
Bowie would be awesome.
That'd be
I
awesome.
would, yeah, I agree. That would be a great one.
It could be made by his filmmaking son.
There's ones I'm curious about.
Wow,
like,
that's a great fucking idea.
hey, yeah. What's his name again?
Tom
David Duncan.
David Duncan.
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 Duncan
Duncan?
Jones. Duncan
Duncan
Jones.
Duncan Jones. There we
Together, we
go.
got it.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, if this movie was a success, there's gonna be others.
I hope
what's
so.
your pick? I got a suggestion for you, but I want to give you.
Well, okay. There's ones I'm curious about, but I'm worried they'd be boring. Like, because the thing is, we know Motley Crue. They were publicly known to be of their debaucherous
Most
behavior.
notorious band.
Yeah, right. So we knew that there was going to be good stories coming out of that. One of the things that they're just kind of quiet. I don't know Judas Priest. Like, I don't know what their antics were behind the scenes.
Well, they sort of did a soft movie called with Marky Mark there. I'll never call Marky Wahlberg.
My worry about them is
Heavy
that I'm going to
Metal?
find out
What's
that
it
they're
called?
just.
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did
You know what
definitely
I'm talking
did.
about?
Yeah, I know what movie you're talking about, but I don't
Where
remember.
they vaguely based on Judas Priest. But anyways, yeah.
Well, my worry is that they're going to be boring. Like, you know,
Why? Why would it be boring?
because there's a lot of these guys. Like, look at Twisted Sister, Dee Snider, and stuff. Like, the guy
Yeah.
never touched a drop of alcohol, right? And he was just,
Yeah,
and then
that's
there's
right.
Alice Cooper who golfed before every friggin' concert,
Well,
right?
he was a heavy druggie and got into deep, and then he found
Then
God.
he cleaned
and
up, yeah.
Came
So
interesting stuff.
that
there.
might be interesting if you get on his earlier years, right?
Yeah.
But I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe Ozzy. Ozzy would be good.
Yeah,
We
it
talked-
would.
be good.
No,
Ozzy
it would be a good one.
Yeah, Ozzy would be a good.
We
one.
talked a little bit about. Didn't we do a podcast on A Star Is Born?
We
Yes.
did.
We
yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that based on it? Or is- I
It's
think
probably
just-
an amalgamation of other stories and characters from music. lore.
Yeah, I couldn't say that he was directly based off any one musician. Though.
I didn't realize how many musician movies there are. I guess
But
there's just
I
quite a few.
love it. Hey man, I love it. Bring them. There might be some shitty ones.
And my hope in this is that
Great ones.
Good God, with these movies, like with enough of this coming out here, with these legends, bring rock and roll back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the music's dying out. That we got all this crap that's going on. We need rock and roll again. You know, I mean,
I think you just need to listen to better radio stations.
no, I can listen to the ones. I can listen to 92. I can listen to all these stations that play but there's no new rock that's being publicized.
That's always a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, enough of listening to old music of the glory days, the aging thing. Let's give us the new stuff.
New stuff.
And there's always the new
rock
stuff.
and roll. I'm on new rock and roll, and I know it's out there, but
Hey,
it's just not hitting the mainstream.
John, I thought
Yeah.
you would say, wouldn't you like to see a movie about Pink Floyd?
I would, but I have watched everything about Pink Floyd, and I'm not sure how exciting
In the right
that movie
hands,
would be.
the right hands wouldn't it be
Yeah.
interesting because they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Who knows? We'll wait and see.
I
right?
mean, you know, it's there's not going to be like the girls and the, you know, the cocaine. Well, there's going to be a lot of drugs, but it's not going to be the party lifestyle of, you know, it wouldn't be as exciting as the Dirt.
How about Led Zeppelin? That'd be a good one.
That would be a good one. Led Zeppelin would be a good one.
Steve, you look like
Yeah.
ready to tell us the weather.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
think
gonna
I think
be-
we're done with the hypothetical movies, but maybe I don't want
All right.
to I don't want to be a
Back
party
to the
killer.
Dirt. Is that what you're? We got some trivia. Is that where you're going with this?
Yes, director Jeff Tremaine directed every Jackass movie,
Perfect guy for a movie like this.
including the Bad Grandpa movie spin-off.
Classics.
This makes The Dirt the first feature-length film he has directed, and that is not connected to Jackass, as well as a first narrative feature in general. I think he hit it out of the park.
Well,
Yeah.
I think there actually did show a little bit of, there was something that looked like there was lacking
Crazy-
experience. Maybe.
Crazy shit going
Yeah,
on.
I don't know.
Let's
I mean-
film this piss. Yeah, woo!
I don't know.
Yeah, running around the hallways naked.
I would say this now. I compare it to other movies of recent, like it didn't seem as well produced or grand as say Bohemian Rhapsody, as far as like I said before. I wish we could have seen.
We need
more
more
of the-
music.
More
Like,
music.
we need
more
more
of the
music.
fans
Yeah,
like enjoying the music. I don't know.
yeah.
You know, I think when Tommy Lee, especially, but all four of them, were trashing their hotel rooms. I think it was too easy to trash their hotel rooms. all the stuff was falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they bolt everything down that they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like one of the things I love about rock and roll documentaries about rock and roll things is that there's certain things when they lead up to the tension before a show and the pretext of like I don't know, just that the vibe you get when the big show's going down, that was missing from this. You know what I mean? Like there's just I wanted that, like you're saying, that scene where the music is just driving you. You're feeling it, you know, and it's like that big explosive rock scene, and I didn't really
Yeah, and
get that.
and they
you know,
did
like,
that. I keep saying I'll refer back to Bohemian Rhapsody. If you haven't seen it, they do that in spades with
Yeah.
the live feel of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Do it well and very well.
Yeah, so that's if I had a criticism about the directing, about the way this film was put together, it'd be that. It's like you're talking about an epic band. You need to get that concert,
The
that
music
that
should be
pumping
more front and
music
center.
feeling. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
that just you get at that live concert thing, and I didn't feel that was encapsulated in the best way that they.
Yeah,
could have done,
yeah. I don't know how they could have. They just could have pushed more of their music in there.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of pyrotechnics, and there was one scene where they were right at
Yeah.
the end when they were coming out. The camera was walking with them, and they were coming out of their dressing rooms and walking towards the stage, and I felt like we needed a concert. But
Yeah, there was some good scenes, but it just didn't culminate to the great ones. You know.
Yeah, and another thing I think lacks in movies like this, I want to see more of the technical. I want to see them writing Home Sweet Home. I want to see more of the backstory of the things. That's what I'm referring
Yeah,
to, a movie being shallow. I want more to see.
Yeah.
Maybe there's not much of a story there, but maybe there is.
Maybe there is.
But
yeah.
what made that song be a hit?
Yeah.
And what was,
Yeah.
stuff like that is more interesting
Yeah.
to me than watching a guy do lines off of or lick urine off of a sensational
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
gets
you know,
only so far.
at the same time, we're musicians, and we're more interested in
The craft
the craft, right? So maybe
Yeah.
the average public that's
wants
not
to see how many girls you bang.
right. That might be more interesting to the average public. So you know,
I guess.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
More trivia. I'll take.
please,
the-
yeah.
Roxy, Tommy Lee's first fiance in the film, is based on a woman named Honey. In real life, Lee kicked Honey out of a limousine after she insulted his mother. When she started hitting him, Lee punched her in the face, knocking her several teeth.
Knocking out several of her teeth.
Yeah, yes, knocking her.
Wow.
Well, that gets me back to like they never followed up like consequences to being abusive to women, or like I don't.
I don't know. I don't,
Does that matter?
I don't think these guys are very nice guys. But
Well, you know, there's an old saying: with absolute power comes absolute corruption, right? And so when you have women, I can have her, I can have her, I can have her, I have her. They got a lineup of women that they can have every concert. You know, they got women throwing themselves at them. You're gonna get corrupted. You're gonna get this thing like, I don't need to take that shit from you. You talk
Yeah.
to me, you know, like how dare you,
But
right?
but further
it's,
to
you know,
that, the protection, the bubble that successful bands, successful anything, making loads of money for whoever that's like. They're just gonna protect them and shield them,
Yeah.
and they'll let them keep doing the bullshit that they're doing, including beating up women, manslaughter or vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah,
Like, wow, man.
it's true. Justice in America is for those who can afford it, as they say.
oh, I
As
haven't
long
heard
as you're a
that.
golden child, you keep being golden.
I'll read the next one. You can read the long one at the end. Is that
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
sounds good.
The actors playing the band members for Motley Crue all learned how to play Motley Crue songs such as "Looks to Kill." Rehearsals were posted on the actors' Instagram accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So that might have been the you said they advertised the movie directly before they released it.
Mm-hmm.
So there might have been some clues.
Yeah.
Long before, but whatever.
Yeah, I thought the performances by the actors was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, like, as far as when you compare how the real guys look to the,
That's tough.
it was. I felt like the biggest adjustment would have been Vince Neil's character. I thought he looked quite different from Vince Neil.
From what you thought.
Yeah,
Vince Neil
I
looked
mean,
like.
you know, they all look different, obviously, but I thought it was. I think Vince Neil lost in height, and he lost in.
He wasn't
size.
a tall guy. He isn't
Yeah.
a tall guy.
Well, yeah, but he's taller than that guy was, I think.
I don't know. He's
no,
well, whatever. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. He's
Tommy Lee was a tall guy, and he
Yeah.
is a tall guy. The actor, Machine Gun Kelly, who portrays him, he's a tall guy too. And it's neat to see them like they're all tattooed up. They look the part, man. Totally, and throughout
Yeah.
the evolution of Motley Crue, they followed some of the looks of Motley Crue, which is cool. If you're a fan of Motley Crue,
Yeah.
they paid attention to details. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, hey, I thought they all did good. I thought even the guy that played Vince, I thought he did amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to criticize him at all. No. All right, in the scene when Nicky wakes up in his hotel room with a groupie next to him, he throws a burrito out of the bed. According to Vince Neil, after a night of sex with groupies, Motley Crue would drive to a restaurant and buy egg burritos and rub them on their crotches to cover the smell of sexual intercourse so their girlfriends would not suspect their activities. Good God, man. So
that sounds like a 20-year-old thing you do. That sounds like a
li-
teenager thing you do.
This sounds like a drug-induced thing you would do. It's
How does
like,
that make it right? How does that make it covered?
yeah, I don't know.
Why not have a shower?
Here's my thing. Why even have a girlfriend during that period?
It is a good
You're
question,
not going to
but
be faithful.
I don't know. Would
Why
your
are you
girlfriend
holding-
rather you be like having sex with other women or burritos?
I don't understand. I
in
don't
this case, it would be
understand that. That does not compute.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, honey, I like
fuck
burritos.
burritos,
I
yeah.
fuck burritos. It's what I do.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. Get used to it. All right, just get used to it.
I don't even know how to
Yeah.
address that. Like,
I don't-
and any woman that thinks they're
I saw
having
that. I thought that was funny.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
funny, yeah.
But any woman thinking they're having a serious relationship with these idiots,
Yeah.
let's face it, they're idiots.
Okay, but wait a second. You gotta drive out. You gotta buy these things. Could you not shower quicker?
I don't know.
And now you gotta rub it, and then at least you'd smell clean instead of like burritos. You know?
Well,
But,
you know, they're
why fool yourself? These women, they're thinking they're having a monogamous
Yeah, well,
relationship
that
with
is
these guys.
delusional, yeah.
It's out the window. Come on now. Come on now.
all right. Is that the dirt, gentlemen?
It is the dirt.
Is that the dirt?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's call it
Let's
the
call
dirt.
it.
It's called.
Be sure to check out primarycritical.com. We got all our podcasts there for you to check out. Thank you, Phil, for picking the dirt.
Hey, man.
I thought it was an experience.
Keep these
loved it.
music bio movies
Yes,
coming,
keep
man.
them coming.
I love them. We'll
Yes.
keep reviewing them.
We'll keep picking
Rock
them,
on,
too.
buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out.
Peace.
Primarily